now.
Hello and welcome to Sick Folks of Cinema. I am your host today, Stefan Bowman. To the left of me, we have Keith Graber.
Woo!
Down below me, we have Heather Rogue. And to the bottom left of me, we have Tech Services.
It's
May
me,
vary.
Stina.
Stina, my bad.
me.
So that be in the same order because Keith's recording, right? So that's like not the real order, right?
No, positioning may vary. I think for the people who are just listening and not watching, all of that doesn't make
matter.
any fucking
Yeah,
sense.
just imagine it that way.
But it's fine. Yeah.
That's my screen,
No,
sorry.
that's literally where we're positioned. This is
Just
what we're
imagine.
doing.
Yeah. Close your eyes and imagine us in bubbles.
So how's everybody doing and what's everybody watching? Let's
Good
start with
stuff.
Heather.
Why always with me? I watched a horror movie. You guys want to hear about a fucking horror movie?
Yes.
Have you ever seen Never Let Me Go?
No, I have not.
Stefan
How
has
was it?
raised his hand. Stefan, do you really know what movie I'm talking about right
I'm
now?
pretty sure. Explain a little bit. I watch so many damn movies, man. Some of them get
Okay,
blurred.
so
blurred.
it's set in an alternate reality where basically people there's clones of people, and the clones are raised at a special school together, and then they grow up and they get harvested for organs for sick people, and so they all die in their 20s.
Who were the main actors?
Keira Knightley and some other people.
Yeah, I have seen that one. I have seen that one.
Heather, I don't know if I've seen this or I've seen that same premise in 4 other movies, but it sounds familiar.
You've
That's actually
probably
true.
seen The Island, because
Yeah,
that's
with
what I thought
Ewan
of. The one,
McGregor?
yeah,
So
Ewan
the
McGregor.
Island, yeah, right. But I like Never Let Me Go because I call it a horror movie as kind of a joke. Which, I thought that's why when Stefan was nodding his head, I was like, "Do you know what movie I'm talking about?" Because this is more like a drama, right? But it's also kind of tears you apart because there's this love triangle going on, and the guy falls for the wrong girl, and he realizes he fell for the wrong girl, so he's trying to get out of getting his organs taken out, and he finds out that you don't get to do that, and he just wasted his short little ass life, and then they take his organs out at the end.
Oh my God.
Spoiler alert for the folks at home.
Spoiler alert: the movie's boring as fuck, but also I guess it's a great fucking movie. But I qualified it as a horror movie because it does fuck with you a little bit. Because there are no deferrals in this movie or in life, and you're gonna die. Maybe not the same way, but don't fall for the wrong. Don't waste your life. That's the message. All right, over to you, Stina. What you been watching?
Well, this week's kind of been all over the place, but as you guys know, last week we started Breaking Bad, which we're on season 3 of that, I believe. Yeah,
you guys
we
making
just
meth
finished
yet?
season 2. No, we are not.
All
But
right.
I've told Ed many a times, I was like, if you decide to become a drug king, please don't. If there is $500,000 somewhere in this apartment, please don't act like Walter White. Don't be that person. Don't do that.
Some
Just
people
tell
get too
me.
into it.
I'll
and
be
treat it-
okay.
Yeah, some people get too into it, treat it like a cooking show,
Yeah. Let's see what else did I watch. Oh, I also watched the new WandaVision, which I'm a big fan of WandaVision. I like that it's. Some people didn't like the first 2 episodes, which I thought they were fun. I thought they were campy. I really liked them. But in episode 3, you're like, oh shit, here comes Marvel. Here they come. And then this last episode was, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I won't spoil anything for you guys because it's too good. But they get in there. They're setting it up. Wanda, yeah, I love her. And I also watched Bling Empire on Netflix. and I just needed some like trashy reality TV. So it's literally just crazy rich Asians in Beverly Hills, and they have like their one friend who's like a normal like dude. And he's just like, okay, I'll go to all these parties. You guys can buy me Dolce and Gabbana. You guys can just do it's silly is what it is. But
Mm.
if you need something just like in the background, just to like have and just not, if you don't want to think when you're watching something, this type of show is perfect. That's why I watch reality TV shows. And yeah, that's all I've been watching.
What about you, Keith?
Okay, so here's what I did. If you remember, Heather's back with us, but last week we had a substitute guest co-host for the show, and we talked about one of the movies that I pitched and to review this week that we didn't vote on was Swallow, and I was intrigued by it, so I watched it, and
I want to see it too.
it was weird. Did any of you guys see it?
No.
Has anyone seen it before? I think
Mm-mm.
Heather, I think you would like it.
I would
Although-
I would have voted for it if I were here.
Yeah, it
Well,
seemed
I
like,
did.
and it really wasn't horror per se. It was a psychological thriller.
Mm.
And it sort of is like my, the typical movie that I'd watch that's outside of horror.
Yeah.
And
One thing I liked about The Ritual was that I could eat dinner while I was watching it.
But I don't know. Swallow was good. It was, it was a little slow, and it was. There were times where it lost me, and there's times where I was like really impressed by it, and there was some mature like approach to pretty, controversial topics like rape, etc., that you don't normally see in movies. They normally either do like the horror approach where it's like it's indulgent, or it's the sort of pandering approach where it's like, oh, we hate these guys, right? We hate Nazis, we hate rapists, we hate all this stuff. I'll pander to you. Instead, this was a little bit like, conflicted and nuanced, and I respected that.
Was there a thing where you didn't know who to sympathize for? Because I
No, they
love
keep
those
that-
types of movies.
They keep that pretty clear,
Mhm.
but they do a good job of navigating, just sort of like understanding where things happen, and it really wasn't like a strong theme. It was more about I don't know, I guess mental disorders. Because that's what the swallowing thing was. It was a mental disorder, and sort of all the, it was a little convoluted at times, but it was cool, and it was a little ham-fisted too sometimes, where they did kind of pander at certain times where they're like, we hate this guy, and the abusive husband or something, and he does things that's a little cliche, in terms of what he says, and I don't know.
He's very predictable, basically.
Yeah, in certain ways, yeah. And then, similar to that, I watched Jojo Rabbit
Ooh.
last night. And
Love it.
Love that movie.
yeah, sort of like had similar, overtones in where, you're not sympathizing with Nazis, but you're kind of like, you're seeing this environment that I don't know, you're just sort of entering their environment. It's a little bit, it's not always
Yeah.
done. It's usually like, Nazis are the worst, we're killing them, right guys, like to
Yeah.
get the crowd riled up.
I think that's the one interpretation of Adolf Hitler that you don't absolutely despise. Like you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
him and you're like, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling, but that was such a good movie.
Yeah, and normally that's sort of spoon-fed and pandered to, the audience, and it's sort of like you might as well just go up and be like, hey, how about that local sports team? Like, fuck you, man. Like, we have brains. Just give it to us straight, I don't know. So that's just what I've been watching. Oh, and I finished Disenchantment, and the worst part was that it ended on a fucking cliffhanger, which means there's a season 4 coming. So I'm gonna blow my brains out and watch it, probably in that order.
They hope there's a season 4
back to
coming.
you,
Probably will be if it doesn't cost Netflix that much.
Yeah.
You know. Let's see. What did I watch? Lots of YouTube.
Going on
Um,
with guys.
I also started watching Mr. Robot. I don't know if any of y'all seen Mr. Robot before.
It's on my
With-
list, but I haven't watched it
with
yet.
Rami Malek. Well, for fans of like David Fincher, specifically Fight Club, or fans of the '90s movie with Angelina Jolie, Hackers, minus the cheesy background simulation stuff to simulate hacking. And I'm trying to think what else you could compare it to. I know there's something else. So it's like hackers, espionage kind of drama, but with lots of suspense and different stuff. There's a little bit of horror and suspense stuff in there too. I definitely recommend it.
He's a good actor.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
great, dude. I love the Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody movie. That movie's amazing.
I liked him from when I first saw him in, I think it was The Pacific. Is that Steven Spielberg? It was like the Band of Brothers, but you know, in
Yeah.
the Pacific Theater of World War II. So
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Very nice, very nice. So I'm on like season 3 for that one, and then I just started 2 new things. One was called Evil. I don't know if any of y'all seen anything with that. It has I forget his name, but it has the
Yeah,
gentleman
I
who
saw
played
that.
Luke Cage, and then it's got this other actor. I'm not sure what his name is or his origin, but he's in a lot of other stuff as well. And it's actually pretty good. It's not bad for CBS TV.
Well, honestly, I have some critiques about it. You're right. For what it is,
Yeah,
it's
for
not.
sure.
It's not. Okay, it goes nowhere. I honestly really didn't like it. Like, there's like a cool kind of premise set up, I guess, and there's cool theme set up, and it makes no sense. It goes nowhere.
Mm.
Nothing goes anywhere.
That's
Like,
that's
that is
TV
my-
though. That's like normal TV.
No, it's not. We need to hold a higher standard. You're not allowed to just end your plot lines like, okay, and now this character is randomly choked to death, and that's the end of their arc. Like, we cannot just American Horror Story everything. You know what I mean?
yeah.
No,
Well,
I
Heather-
feel you.
Not to disagree with you too much, but I think, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of disenchantment because I bitch about it all the time. But I feel like that's what Disenchantment's problem was, is that they tried to make this too like broad of a season arc. And The Simpsons doesn't do that. They're just like episode by episode.
You can do one or the other, but don't set up a season arc and make me invest in it and then not
deliver.
make it satisfying, not deliver.
Yeah.
And this is something that Sherlock does, like the British BBC Sherlock thing, where it did that worse and worse as the series went on, where it would like keep making you invest in something awesome that would happen later, and then nothing good ever happened.
So bad payoff. Bad payoff.
And it would keep making fans make big fan theories about, hey, how did Sherlock survive his death? And then it would make fun of the fans for coming up with fan theories, because at the end of the day, it's just TV. But it's literally TV that is set up in order to make you invest in more episodes rather than enjoy the one that you're fucking watching. So if you want to make it episodic like The Simpsons, then make it episodic so that the actual episode itself is satisfying. I'm done. Thank you very much. Right.
And then the other one I started watching is called The Head. Came out in 2020, and that one is basically a science lab in somewhere like the North Pole or Antarctica or something like that, and then something happens. And what's interesting, the way they set it up, I thought was pretty interesting. I'm not finished with it so far, but 2 interesting things really quick about it. One is it's around the 6-month mark. Several of the scientists leave this station for the 6 months of dark. And then there's like 10 or more, not many more, that are left at the scientific station to deal with the isolation, less people, and 6 months of dark. And then the scientists who left, they end up coming back after the 6 months, and something's fucked up and wrong with the science station. Typical. It's not very predictable in that sense. But the cool thing, one of the cool things in it that I liked, is for the initiation of the first, for people who have not stayed there for the 6 months, they have this like initiation type thing. And one of the initiation things is they force them to watch John Carpenter's The Thing. which I thought was, I thought was fucking cool. But so far on that one, it's pretty good. It's all right.
Pretty good.
Called The Head, and I'm guessing that because in the trailer they find a head. So that's my assumption. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna go there. I'm just gonna say that's probably why. Because if not, then the name doesn't make any sense.
Segway.
Segue to the name not making sense.
So let's see, where are we? All right. So let's discuss the film of the week,
The Ritual.
The Ritual, which everyone can watch on Netflix.
What year was this made?
It was
Correct.
2018, 2017.
I think it's 2018.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Sometimes it's you read a couple different dates based on.
Yeah, I mean, when they completed it versus when it released is definitely going to be different. That's for sure.
That seems like an odd thing. It's like, it's weird. Like I didn't realize that there were so many different release dates for the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or how many times that happens.
Well, yeah, and
So
we
this
also
movie
get
sucks. Sorry.
now it's complicated even further with box office and digital, etc.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do we have a box office anymore? I don't know what that even means now. But yeah, not to get too far off topic. So you know what? I'll start because I would like to say that this movie was half awesome. Like, I was watching this movie and I was like thinking to myself, wow, it's like, so far, I don't want to jinx this, but man, these motherfuckers have done such a great job. This is like, they've maintained like the mystery, the suspense, what's happening. I don't know, but I want to find out. And the dialogue was natural. The acting was good. Nothing was cliche. Nothing was overplayed. And then as soon as I got done writing that note, they fucked me. And,
What did they do? What happened?
They did me dirty. They did me dirty. So I wrote that basically. I loved this movie. This was, to me, at least a 4.5-star movie up until they bumbled down that hill and found the camp with all the people in it.
Oh, the camp cult.
Yeah,
people.
the cult of, and then I was like, and then all the flaws started to come through, and I'm like, fuck, man, that was, because okay, they never really continued with the supernatural thing of like the vision. Like the people when they had the visions during the nightmares and stuff, that's sort of like you did see what that culminated to. That was like their visions of the future from the, I'm sorry if I don't know, spoiler alert, fuck it. At this point we're doing it. Those were all the visions of how that, of how everything would play out. But like, I don't know, I was expecting and hoping for a little bit more of a supernatural effect and the continuation of that. And maybe even like, I don't know, they end up in the visions like forever, or it's a dimensional thing. I don't know. I was like hoping for something that was like going to like, I don't know, wow me. And then they went to, no, it's some fucked up dumb Rob Zombie family in the woods. Like we just couldn't think of anything better, and I'm like, come on.
But they had the foreshadowing for the cult. They did it two major foreshadowing moments twice.
It was all there. Again, a better option would have been if that they kept finding remnants, but those people are gone because of the, this is what happened to them. This thing, your future, what's going to happen to you through this supernatural effect, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would have been cooler.
I just feel like the concept of, oh, it's fucked up weird people who did it is like the cheapest form of an answer in a horror movie, or especially when there's some sort of unknown or a mystery.
Lazy writing, you think?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, when you say like, when you say that like the lazy, these hillbilly people did it, what did they do?
Well, and again, it didn't necessarily erase like the concept of the demigod that was doing anything. But keep in mind, they did become they became the antagonist for a minute. Like they were the ones capturing these people, locking them up, and sort of giving them as a sacrifice. So one guy actually did die sort of at the hands of these people,
Yeah.
so it convoluted, like who's the antagonist here. And it's not to say that I don't like what they did with the cult, and that in itself would have been a decent movie, a watchable movie, a Rob Zombie flick that I would have watched. But it's different than the way it started out, and I would have hoped that they would have. It seemed like two different movies, and I was hoping for a continuation of the first half. You know what I'm saying?
Did you want something more like a Midsummer kind of thing where they take a little, maybe not much more, but a little more time with the cult, maybe before they unraveled what happened? Is that what you
I
wanted?
would have
Or?
taken the cult out of it and
Okay, I see what you mean.
left it as something.
See, I
Like,
think if they
you're
took
in
the
that
cult,
God territory, so it's like he makes the rules of reality there,
Yeah.
and so and I kind of think, I feel like, I don't know, because to me that's about where it lost me too. But to me it was just because it was like taking too long to get there, and I'm just like, by then I kind of had fatigue, or they're still adding more elements on top, like turning dudes into Christmas ornaments, and I'm just kind of underwhelmed by it. I'm just like, so that's how people are going out, is they're all just being turned into Christmas ornaments. Now I gotta spend time in this fucking basement. And both times I tried to watch this movie, because I've seen this movie before, and I fell asleep at the same time that time as well, when they're left in the damn basement waiting for something to happen, because I just like got tired of it by then. And so yeah, like I didn't know how to call it, but the Colts, when it lost me too. And I feel like a little bit before the cult too, like when they're just like getting picked up, and killed that way, I just felt like it just was like failing to go in any direction with that cool little reality bending kind of effect that it was doing. And it was instead becoming a grounded monster movie, or a dumb hillbilly cult in the woods movie. And I and so to me it was like, okay, I know what this is now, and I don't care anymore.
Oh, Heather, can I add to that one gripe that you probably have? No boobies, just not even one boobie.
not a single boob.
Not a single boob. You almost got one from the old lady, but
that would have been nice. She looked like she had some great, and I was looking for them too in that room where all of the corpses were like chanting, like all of the corpses were still alive, and he lights them all on fire. Spoiler. I was looking for boobs, because I was like, this is where you're gonna see some titties.
I want to see some memories, damn it.
You're gonna see some floppy old haggard 9,000-year-old titties.
Like when a magician has the handkerchief.
Some mummified old lady tits wailing in the fucking wind on fire.
Oh man.
No.
While the ladies just go.
She like pulling it off of her shoulder.
No, thank you.
That was my favorite scene of the movie. It's all the fucking all the corpses are like, shut up, there's somebody here. And he like walks into the room, they all go quiet, and then fucking he realizes they're alive and lights them all on fire, and they all just go.
That, honestly, Heather, that could have replaced the cult. The people is the corpses that are sort of partly living for me. Like that would have
been perfect, right? Giving it this like eerie moment, like living corpses are the only thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, yeah, that would have been way better. Instead, you have some like woman who's coming by feeding them porridge, telling them like, yeah, this is a fucking an ice giant from the old days,
Yeah, as soon as they encountered that camp, it felt like an expo dump. It just was like, oh, hey, this is all the stuff that, like, let me just read the script. It'll be easier at this point. Okay.
And that always ruins it. Like a good supernatural movie, I stopped giving a fuck once you explain, like, this is the spirit of this dead person. I'm like, I don't care anymore,
You want it to be more like real.
Or interpretive.
Yeah, like keep it like that's one thing is like keep it so that you're forced to turn to subtext in order to understand it, and that makes it kind of cool because then it makes you
Mhm.
think about it more. But then the other thing is just like that the unknown is scary. You know what I mean? And when you know something and you know the rules that it plays by, then it's no longer frightening.
I
You
think it
know?
also depends on how they execute it as well. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
Yeah, I honestly could have done with way more of the weird nightmare scenario where he goes back to that mini mart. That was always the coolest element of this movie was like the glowing fluorescent lights appearing in the woods, you know, and it's
Mhm.
sort of like the two
meshing.
Yeah.
environments are overlapped. I fucking love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was the best part. And then it was like, oh, Rob Zombie's family's here, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
See,
And
I
it feels
liked
like
the
it's gonna.
cult.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
did.
hate them.
I liked it because up until that point, I was like, what the fuck is it? Is it an alien? Is it a cryptoid? Like, there's runes up there. So, yeah, maybe it might be Nordic. Like, what the fuck is happening? And then they said, like, offspring of Loki. And I was like, oh, well, that's why he saved him. Like, he saw that he had like that moment in the mini mart. Like, he had such a big like it was I don't even know how to explain it. Like
Regret and pain. He had a lot
yeah,
of regret and pain.
he had the biggest
Yeah.
amount of regret and pain, and that was the exchange. The little thing that Anna, the missing hiker, had said, like, he will take all that pain away and you can live a deathless life. And it's like I
You just
was
can't
like,
leave
oh
the forest. Yeah, you can't leave the forest
yeah,
though.
you can never leave the forest, but you can literally, that's why all the corpses were still alive, was their bodies gave out. So it's a bad idea in the long run, but you just never die. This entity takes all of that pain and says, okay, I keep this, you get life forever. It's fine.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, okay, I understand. I get that. I understood it for that purpose. The one thing that it did bother me though was when I was watching this movie and they said, oh, yeah, this is an offspring. This is a bastard offspring of Loki. Loki. And the dude's like, all right, let me just pick up this 100-year-old rifle. I'm just going to go out there and fucking murder everything. People need to know about mythology. People take like spirits and mythology and they don't take it seriously. And even Ed was like, what would you do in that situation? I was like, not that. Not
Yeah, but now
that.
you sound like me. Now you
I
sound like
would
me, like
first of all.
griping about their lack of life skills. You know, like you should be more well read, is what your problem is.
It's true.
Yeah,
That's like my big thing. Like this, if this has been around for thousands and thousands of years, an ancient one, what makes your dumbass think that you're just gonna put it down with a rifle? Your best chance is just to get the fuck out of there and run.
yeah,
Just
totally.
keep going.
And
That's what bothered me.
as an additional point, I'll
I
say
would
if
shoot
you
it.
are going to shoot it, don't skip the headshot right through the front door and then wait till you get outside and do it at 30 yards, like while it's moving, which he did. The thing looked right at him at the front door when he had the rifle, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm scared. Let me go outside and shoot him while it's moving."
Let me get out of cover.
Well, let me tell you why they didn't do that. Because if he would have shot that thing in the face, the movie would have been over. Because
been
the thing
pissed.
probably would have been like, whoop, there you go. Bye-bye. I'm
Dead.
gonna
It
live
would
my
have been
life.
dead.
Yeah.
Because it was not a bastard child of Loki. That was a cult, and that was just a mutant fucking reindeer. Like, it was just a fucking radioactive reindeer. One fucking shot to the head would have taken it down. Like, fucking people were just like, I don't know what to do.
So it's like
good
Bambi
work.
on mutagen from the Ninja Turtles. Is that what we're saying?
I don't believe in this stuff with mythology. Like, Loki doesn't exist, so that's why I would shoot it in the head. And
Okay.
kill it. And
So-
I would then they'd call me Heather the God Slayer, you know. And
When I heard
would have been
yeah,
in the cult.
when I heard Loki, I
then
was
I
wondering where
would-
Thor was. That's what I was wondering.
I'll take your pain away, baby.
See, I think that would have been
I'll give you everlasting life.
I think what would have been cool, it still kind of would have been cheesy, but what I think would have been cool is if maybe, and this is going to sound stupid, but somewhat cool, is if maybe he acts, well, and I know Keith's not going to like this, but if somehow there was like a small section where instead of him running into the person that he accidentally shoots when he can't even get the gun to work, that maybe there's a small little thing where he walks into a room and there's like maybe like their book of worship or something that kind of explains a little bit more of the mythology without them having to orally explain it. So he's going in and then kind of maybe slightly reading certain things, and maybe he can't even read it, right? He's looking at certain pictures that depict certain things that maybe he doesn't understand. I don't know. I would have preferred that versus them saying certain things. And not only that, if he can't read the dialogue or text inside the book, that also leaves some things that are lost in translation because obviously he doesn't know how to read that stuff.
Well,
you know,
if you remember, the guy who he shot was speaking in, well, I guess I'm assuming Swedish. I didn't understand, you know, and there were no subtitles, but everyone else spoke English there, which was weird. Like,
yeah, they should have just stayed speaking a different language. I think that would have added, that would have been scarier too. You know, and if they want to,
I thought it was
Foreign
just
language
the
is
lost hiker that spoke English. Because that was the only person that talked to him. Everybody else just kind of like the old lady didn't say shit. She
yeah.
just looked at him, gave him
Oh,
some
yeah.
water. And
oh, is
then
that what it
showed-
was? The young girl was a lost hiker?
Yeah, the camp that they found, that was hers. Because
Oh,
she got
I remember,
attacked.
yeah.
She had the 5 holes too. He
The
marked
marking.
her.
Mark of the
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah,
and
it's like the beast picks people,
Yeah.
and then they eventually find this cult, and then you
Yeah.
basically
have
do
the
the
option
ritual.
of the other thing that I was going to say that I know is this is definitely not going to be liked, but I would have preferred this over any of the ways, you know, the gun or the axe. If even he was to injure it in order for it to be slower for him to get away or even possibly kill it. And this is going to sound stupid because I don't know how you would do this slowly without it being too quick. He, you know, kind of accidentally, but this already sounds stupid by saying it this way. You know, if that's the bastard son of Loki, maybe he finds remnants of a broken weapon of Odin or Thor or something. And it doesn't have to be something super cheese or anything, you know what I mean?
Like
Brought
the
to you by
equivalent of
Marvel.
finding like a silver bullet, and there's
Something.
a werewolf around.
So-
Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, and it doesn't even have to be something that's modern. It can be, you know, Thor's hammer, which already I know, like I said, it's going to be cheese, or even, you know, like just the tip of one of Odin's spears, something, right?
Mhm.
Something, and maybe he doesn't even know that's what he found, right? So that way, then it's a little bit less cheesy. But I would have preferred that versus just a random rifle and the villagers'
Yeah.
axe.
Yeah.
Lean into the mythology a little more if
Christina,
that's what's going on.
Christina, if you don't like the concept of the gun working, how did the axe, like, because he knocked the shit out of it with the axe at one point.
Oh yeah,
right?
he hit it pretty good.
Yeah, that was like a slap to the nose, basically, because the thing kind of just went, pff, and then he ran, and then he's the bastard Loki stag monster stopped at the edge of the woods and was like, okay, well, I guess you're gone.
Deuces.
So, yeah, like
Oh,
that's the
shucks.
rules. So all these
Yeah.
horror movies basically have like schoolyard game rules, you know, like no, you're not
A
allowed.
lot of
That's
them
lava.
do.
You can't go. And
A lot
so
of them do.
that-
You have to set the universe.
Yeah.
You have to set up the universe so that you know what you can and can't do, what's feasible and not feasible.
Mhm.
And
Like,
some
the first movie we did was that Halloween movie where if you break the Halloween rules, you get punished. you
Oh
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think a better ending for this film, at least for me, would have been him thinking he got out, right? And thinking it's an isolated incident without realizing that there are other people that aren't in the cult, but they also feed this creature or this beast. So he assumes, yeah, I got away, right? And then someone from the lodge they were going to is not part of the cult, but also understands the necessity to feed this creature and fucking, you know, feeds him to the fucking creature.
I could see that ending.
Yeah, I would have thought that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would
I
have been
don't
that would have been a fun little like one of those like twists where it's like, oh, the final dude is safe. Wow. And then you see him check in and
Yeah.
you know, there's
If we're-
some
if we're
marks on
pitching-
him, something.
if we're pitching better endings, I would say that once they go down that hill and they find the camp, there's no living people. All they see is all the worshipers.
Okay, so
And
remnants.
they're even more freaked out. They're like, oh my, they kind of realize like that this is somehow a worshipped demon or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they realize they're alive, set fire to it. Somehow the next dream scenario, they end up fighting each other, the guy with the glasses and the main guy, and then kill each other. One kills the other. And then
so it manipulates them mentally.
Yeah, and then maybe escapes. The way that the guy escapes in the end is through that by leaving the convenience store, like inside the dream, the flashback or whatever, and maybe gets into a bloody fight with the attackers or something like that.
He like walks up to his friend and he goes, "I'm sorry," and he lets him go. And then by finally letting him go with his heart, he's able to let go of his grief. And then he makes friends with his demon, and they have a parade.
Or maybe the
I
two
like
attackers,
that ending.
Yeah, or maybe the two guys that were attacking him in the convenience store, the robbers, they're all doing shots like on the bar, the counter.
Oh, geez.
Hey, we're friends now, right? In the dream.
Just get the ring, man. You can have it now, bro. No worries.
No, here's your wallet back too. Why we sometimes we overreact.
My bad.
Speaking of the dreams, oh, go ahead, Heather.
The ending I would have put is that he's fleeing the woods. The monster's right behind him. He hits the border of the woods. The monster stops. Right? He's like, "Uh-oh, no more woods. I can't go anymore." And the guy's like, "I did it! I win!" And then he turns around. And he realizes the reason the monster didn't chase him is because there's a fucking giant marshmallow monster in the fucking valley.
That's Ghostbusters. You can't steal Ghostbusters.
No, this is Nordic mythology.
I was just gonna say it's a Nordic marshmallow man.
The Nordic marshmallow man. Listen, Odin. Okay.
He yells Odin as it smashes him.
He just gets fucking smashed. The end. Save your movie.
I will say too that the actual ending here bugged me because like I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to say like, yeah, you finally like conquered your demon of your friend dying through this experience. But guess what, dickhead? 3 other friends died through this in order to do that. It doesn't seem worth it, does it really?
Lots of people had to die for your own self-acceptance here.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, speaking of the dreams, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of bummed when I figured out that they were all dreaming about what was gonna happen. Because that's what I assumed like the other 2 were doing too, because the one guy was naked praying in front of the god, and then the other guy had pissed his pants, and then the other guy was yelling for his wife Gail, but it's not until that basement scene that you're like, oh shit, all these other dudes were dreaming about how they were going to die and what was going to happen to them. But they didn't give any sort of like, they didn't talk about the other dudes like dreams, like the other 2 guys.
Not enough dream subtext, maybe?
Yeah, I wish they would have like talked about like what they were dreaming about or like what they saw. Like if somebody was like, oh, like just to like little things to where you could be like, oh shit, is that the tent he's talking about? Remember he was talking about a red tent, like something like that, to where it's like, oh shit, they're all dreaming about what's going to happen. Yeah. And like then the one dude is like, I just keep having dreams about the most most horrible night of my life. What is going on with you guys?
Yeah. Or yeah, you could do a joke where like, I was also dreaming about your wife. It's weird.
Ethan, a horror movie.
Guys,
Keith,
all right, we got to stop
serious.
dreaming about Larry's wife. All right.
So what do we how many sick folks are we giving this, or stars?
I'm still gonna give it. I'm torn between 3.5 and 4.
I'll go out and say it. I'm gonna give this one 4.
I'll give it 4.
Because the things that really bothered me didn't. It was like a me problem, it was nothing wrong. There was nothing with the actual movie that made it like let's dock a star. Let's dock a star.
Let's
Like
dock
it
a
wasn't
star.
like it wasn't like nothing was that extreme. It wasn't perfect either, but a solid 4. Like I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Like a bad server,
And it was
you're
good.
taking the tip away. You know.
You're like, there goes $1.
Yeah.
There goes $1, homie.
Yeah, I have to say that I kind of agree with Christina here. So a lot of the problems, like I have very high standards for shit, and it's me being overly critical. This overall was a pretty spooky, fucked up, and enjoyable movie. I'm not upset that I watched it. I don't want my time back. Happy with it. I would recommend other people to watch it.
Hmm.
It definitely earned its 3.5 stars, and I'll give it the extra half star because of all those other factoids about me still being entertained by it. So it's a 4-star movie. A 4-star horror movie. Heather?
Okay.
I thought she was doing a bit.
No poop. Doc and 1 star for that. I have trouble making it through movies in general. I fall asleep very easily. This one was no exception to that. But some of my favorite movies, like The Wailing, I fall asleep every time to that one too. It's still a really good movie. So I'll dock half a star for that. Besides that, great cinematography. I really wanted it to go somewhere with the whole, like, like you said, with the whole fluorescent lights showing up in the woods thing. Like I wanted it to go somewhere more with that, and I really thought it was going to. And ultimately, it ended up being pretty disappointing. So it just ended up being like another horror movie at the end of the day. In the long run, for me, it never earned like a really strong place. So for that, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 star rating.
That's fair.
That's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I liked it. I'm a huge fan of creative, unique creature design. I haven't seen any creature that look like this.
Oh no.
That's one thing I'll say. Especially when you really get a good look at it, when it finally shows a lot more of its body and stuff.
When it did that full like Transformers moment, I was like, oh fuck, that's fucking gnarly.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen anything like that before, and I've seen a lot of creature features. I haven't seen anything that looks like that. I really did like the creature. I think definitely the beginning of it up until almost before the cult comes in was definitely pretty damn good, pretty damn well done, really. The writing around when the cult was there, or any other creative element they could have added. But yeah, overall it was definitely a good movie. Really well written, dialogue, cinematography. Again, the creature, I really like the creature. Was not the worst CGI I've ever seen. I've definitely seen worse. I'd give it like a that's a hard one. I give it a 3.5. 3.5. Well, no, I give it a 4. I'll give it a 4.
Okay. So that's almost a 4 average.
Almost. That's a pretty good average for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we picky.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely highly recommend it if you have Netflix and you haven't watched it. Definitely,
ladies
check
and
it out.
gentlemen, this movie is watchable. This is recommended.
Woo! We did it. We watched a watchable movie.
No boobies though. Sorry, there's no boobies.
No boobies.
Just bring a nudie mag with you.
Actually, I mean, and they didn't have to be boobies, right? You had 3 hot men and 1 average-looking dude on a camping trip. Like
Full frontal?
Why a little bit of cheek?
Oh, cheeks. Okay.
A little bit of cheek would have been nice.
Maybe like a bite on his.
I don't want to see dicks. Like that monster already looks like a penis. I don't need more of that.
So you wanted to see like a Loki bastard baby bite on the homie's butt cheek?
Yeah,
like,
wasn't one
he's
of them
kinky.
naked? I think we did see cheeks. There was the one guy was naked when he was praying to the.
Yeah, maybe there was some cheek. Okay, why not bump it up to just give it a solid 4? Fuck it. Why not?
I mean, It wasn't
I
a
can't
solid
give it
butt
4.
cheek.
It's so forgettable. Like it didn't leave that. It didn't leave that haunting mark of horror. So I can't give it a 4. I have to give it a 3.5.
Not even for
But
the
it's a
butt cheeks?
That's fair.
watchable movie. Like it's a throwaway movie for me, but it's watchable and it has great cinematography, great acting. Like
Yeah.
it's not bad movie. Not bad.
No, it does have a moment where it does feel a little slow that it could use some pick me up. I agree with that. Definitely agree with that.
All right, Stefan. So what do you got for us, pal?
Okay, let's see. So I go to screen share again. Is that what I'm hitting?
Yes.
Okay. And then am I hitting
Portion of screen in the advanced settings.
portion of screen?
This
Okay.
is why they call me tech services.
Okay, I'm on that one.
And then go to whichever window. There you go.
You guys can see it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Here's the first one.
I'll be back on Monday.
And have the locks changed before then?
I'm going.
First weekend my parents visit in years, and you're just gonna go!
I'm not a bloody prostitute!
Sorry.
This is our second date.
What is your name again?
So listen.
You should have seen him in his glory, Dave. We're going to bring you back from the brink.
No smoking.
Shut up.
So what's in a weird little village like Moodley that you can't find in London?
What do you mean, weird?
Just a dead end in the middle of the woods.
Please tell me you took a wrong turn.
I told you the place was a dead end.
We're going to find a pub. We're going to drink till we pass out.
9 people to kill.
Women love me. Really? Don't go in the woods.
What's in the woods?
Everything you've ever been afraid of.
Oh no.
There's something else. This just gets better and better, doesn't it? This is an army of pissed off, man-hating, feminists, cannibals. I really like the one with the axe. She's married.
What do we do now?
We do what everyone else does when they're facing their own mortality.
Ron, we're not just dealing with a few insane women anymore. In case you've forgotten, the reason we brought Vince out here was to try and convince him that all women are not out to get him.
Yeah, thanks for that, lads.
You're so sexy, Joe. Why don't we forget about all this finger food?
That looks fun.
All right, so there's that one.
That was Doghouse.
That was Doghouse. And then we have Attack the Block. Here we go.
Is that even a horror movie? Attack the Block. I think
What is that, cuz? That's an alien, bruv. Believe it. And I landed in the wrong place, though. You get the wrong place. Welcome to London, motherfucker.
Well done, lads. We discovered a species hitherto unknown to science.
Believe.
Maybe there was a party at the zoo and a monkey fucked a fish.
Yo, check it. More what?
Them things. Lovely fireworks.
Mum, it's an alien invasion.
Of course it is.
I'm killing them straight. Let's get tooled up, blood.
Quite sweet, really, aren't they?
Oh, that's different. That ain't even the same thing. That looks triple the size blend.
We need to get off the streets. Back in the block.
What kind of alien would invade some shitty council estate in South London?
One that's looking for a fight.
What is that?
I'm shitting myself in it, but at the same time, this is sick.
I've got one text left. This is too much madness to explain in one text.
We have to call the police.
You'd be better off calling the Ghostbusters, love.
My name ain't Gavin, it's Mayhem, and he's Probs. Arthur kills us.
No one's gonna ever call you Mayhem if you keep on acting like such a pussy.
We're going to Ron's weed room. That's the safest place in the block.
What's Ron's weed room?
It's a big room full of weed, and it's Ron's. Wait, this is safe. Good luck.
There's that one. And then
Like this year's Chappie.
in tribute of George Romero, because his birthday was February 4th, rest his soul. I picked a George Romero movie at also in celebration of George A. Romero's birthday, the godfather of zombie horror, who did the original Night of the Living Dead. Yes.
Okay, I'm going with the Alien movie.
All right, so here's the trailer for the third one. This was a pick again in celebration of George A. Romero's birthday.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its time.
Not that room! Not that room!
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all times.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill. This situation must be controlled before it's too late. They are multiplying too rapidly.
Dawn of the Dead.
Meet me on the roof at 9 o'clock. Getting out.
I don't believe
We're
it.
gonna
What?
get out in the chopper. We've got to survive. Somebody's got to survive.
They kill for one reason. They kill for food. They eat their victims.
Imagine, if you will, that something has gone terribly wrong.
Shoot it, man.
Now, accept the fact that there's no escaping the horrible consequences. George Romero brings back the dead. Night of the Living Dead has ended. Dawn of the Dead is here.
We must not be lulled by the concept that these are our family members or our friends. They are not. They will not respond to such emotions.
Operator dead. Post abandoned. We may never get out alive. It's everywhere. What the hell is it?
Looks like a shopping center, one of those big indoor malls.
What are they doing? Why do they come here?
Some kind of instinct, memory, what they used to do. This was an important place in their lives.
What is it?
We've got a war.
I'm afraid.
We have spawned our own savagery. Soon, it will consume us all. It is a horrible, hauntingly accurate vision of the mindless excesses of a society gone mad.
They must be destroyed on sight.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
We are down to the line, folks. We are down to the line.
Dawn of the Dead.
And those are the choices.
I want to change my vote to Dawn of the Dead just because I feel like I just watched the whole movie anyways. So we can get to the review now. Terrible movie.
Oh, I love the original one. For what it
Two
was.
and a half stars just because of it. Just because it's an archetype. Just because
Because of the J.C. Penney solid state TV that it was.
Just because of that weird zombie mugging thing that I didn't remember was in that movie.
Oh, the original? Oh, I love the original. Oh.
Okay, this is probably one of the only times you'll ever hear me say this, but I'm going to pick the movie that I haven't seen, which is Doghouse.
Okay, so we got one for Doghouse.
Yeah, I'm picking Doghouse too. I gotta say, Attack the Block reminds me too much of Chappie. I don't find like, like skanky scumbag like street gangs to be charming in any way or endearing ever.
Oh, they don't
Like,
glorify it in that way at all.
Yeah,
Either.
it's always like, yo, bro, get the fuck out of here. You know?
No, Attack the Block is a fun movie. It's got like a Shaun of the Dead. Like,
yeah, if you're a fan of Shaun of the Dead,
like,
yeah, I like Shaun of the Dead.
To the World's End, or
but do you remember
at World's End?
And the world, or I don't.
You guys remember
World's End.
Chappie?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to strangle that couple to death with my bare hands. To death with my bare hands.
He ended up getting accused of abusing her. Yeah.
Oh, in real life? Are you saying in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
So it's like a Marilyn Manson effect. Like, oh, what? The degenerate scumbag character wasn't a character? That's weird.
Right. That weird age gap relationship turned out to be grooming, where like a 36-year-old hooks up with an 18-year-old. Okay.
Next, the world's going to find out that Dice Man's actually a sexist. Controversial thoughts.
Actually going to find out Jabba the Hutt is a human trafficker, That too on the nose?
Yeah, I'm a Doghouse. Like, Doghouse had all those sort of elements.
It scratched all your itches.
Yeah, it was the best of the both worlds. It has the zombies, but not the cheap, shitty zombies, but it's still fun. And then it has a little bit of that, like, the rogue aspect, but not quite the street gang shitheads, So,
and that's actually one of the first roles for the gentleman who ended up playing Finn in the new Star Wars movie. The guy you see mainly in the trailer that ends up
does he go, woo?
I hope so, at least 2 or 3 times.
No.
I don't remember.
But yeah, I recognize in Doghouse there was somebody from either Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or maybe both. So I was like, okay, I'm on board for him.
Yeah, the main guy with the who always looks gobsmacked. He has no other look. He's always gobsmacked.
Right, so you're also Doghouse, Heather?
Well, my vote is irrelevant. We already got two people. So,
but we want to know what it was, just to
what was your?
Honestly, I thought all 3 of those were really bad choices, and
I had other ones.
Not Stefan.
I had other ones on the list. You want to hear the other?
Okay. So no, I don't want to know. Save them.
Okay.
I'll say least of all, Dawn of the Dead. I wanted to watch that one the least. And then I also really didn't want to watch some like misogynistic zombie movie or some fucking teen alien movie with like the one unsuccessful actor from Shaun of the Dead, So anyways,
Nick Frost.
Oh, I love Nick Frost too. Nick Frost.
Out of all of those options, I guess misogynistic zombie movie is the winner. For me
there's gonna be boobies, Heather.
There
many
is tons. You're
gonna get zombie boobies.
There was that one shot with the zombies' cleavage, and I'm like, I'm on board just for that.
Did you like Shaun of the Dead, Heather?
Shaun of the Dead it was fine. The thing about comedy is that it's like a moving target, but I don't know if I would enjoy Shaun of the Dead if it came out right now. I'd probably feel like zombies are a little tired, Aliens maybe not as much, but still, it's still just like a quirky invader movie. I've seen a lot of those.
Do you want to know? You don't want to know which one I was gonna put instead of Attack the Block?
No, I don't.
No,
Can
okay.
we just end the episode?
She wants you to save it.
He wants to go now.
So you chose Doghouse. All right, so then Doghouse it is.
Yep. So next week, Doghouse. I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I actually wanted to see that kind of.
It looked fun.
Yeah.
All the movies look fun, but I've seen Attack of the Block and I liked it. It's been a while though, and I've seen Dawn of the Dead. I can't even tell you how many times.
The original one or the remake?
The original one.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't a huge fan of the remake.
Yeah,
It was alright.
Yeah, it's all right.
It was alright.
All right. So thank you everybody for hanging out with us and chilling with us. We are Sick Folks of Cinema, and we will be seeing you next week when we review Doghouse.
All right, guys. Later. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.